Welcome back, everyone. Come join us this week. We're going to share a little bit more with you of our fun times in Hoffman Cay with some turtles, as you can see, a shark, and some beach running time for Walter. It's going to be time to leave. We're a bit delayed because yet another cold front is going to roll on through. They're finally getting a bit weaker, so not such a big deal, but still some winds that we are going to park it for. And then off we go. We are going to head towards the Exumas. We are excited for that. And en route, we'll be stopping one night on New Providence Island. Come along, please click like and subscribe, and enjoy the video.
Good morning, folks. It is Monday, February 16th, 6:49 in the morning. So it is blowing a little bit. So I'm going to take you out there. We've been debating this morning a lot about should we move. We're a bit on the lee shore today. And what a lee shore means for you non-sailors is that the wind is basically blowing us towards shore. So I'm going to show you right here on my trusty phone. This is where we are. The little red triangle is our position. Let's see if I can get this closer here. Here we go. The red triangle is our position. The wind's coming from the southeast, which is that direction, pushing us onto this beach. We've been here for 3 or 4 days. And I seriously, I'm debating, or we've been debating all night, last night, evening, and this morning, if we should move further closer to more protection from this island, the, what's it called? Saddleback Cay. Because the winds are going to clock to the west, which is making it more of a lee shore for us. As I'm looking at it this morning, my debate is, we've been here for 3 days. The anchor has been in the ground for 3 days. It's well settled. It does not move. It hasn't moved. It's pretty strong. And we've clocked around twice now, I think. So let's go take a look. This is the beach we're talking about. So now it's blowing southwest, blowing us kind of in the open on this side, but it's still shallow over there. We don't want to go there. And when it comes to the west, which is over here, this will push us to this beach over here. But it's only going to be doing 15 to 20 knots, which is not that bad. And I'm looking at the depth here, and we're in 15 feet of water. We've been in 15 feet of water for days. And we're gonna go out to the bow. And there's our chain with our bridle And yes, I was debating again also, should I undo the bridle and unwrap it? Because it's all wrapped up around the chain. And that just goes to tell you how many times we went around in circles. But I'm really thinking, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And today is even more of that. Like, I don't think that we should move things that are settled and solid. So yes, as you can see, our back end is going towards the shore. If that anchor was to come undone, we'd have not a whole lot of time to react. So what I'm thinking is, like, stay on board, be cautious, but don't move anything. Because we were going to move, but really, where are we going to move? There's a sunken sailing vessel over there, and then it gets shallower there, but we're not going to get a whole lot of protection from that island anyway, on the west side. So, especially not from the southwest side, which right now we're getting a good wave protection from there. And as you can see, we don't get protection from the wind around here. This is not BC. BC, you've got mountains and walls of rocks. Here, you've got a little protection from the wave. Michelle calls it, it's like little turd drops. So yeah, you just want to be cautious, because you don't get the protection from the wind, you get protection from the wave. And yes, this looks alarmingly close, I guess you could say that, alarmingly, but we're still in 15.3 feet of water. And I think seriously that staying put is the best choice. And the thing is, when you move your anchor, I truly believe that you should stick with the boat for at least a day or a half a day to make sure that the anchor is actually jammed in there and it's not going to move. Because once you start unsettling it, you never know. My decision, and Michelle agrees, that we should just stay put and not mess with the anchor and just keep it as is and just keep our eyes up. You got to be aware that you're out in the wild here. You're by yourself. And it's not like being at home. When Michelle was referring to that this morning, it's like, when you're at home, you get a weather forecast and going, it's going to rain, it's going to be blowing wind. When you leave the house, you don't really think about the house moving around with the wind. But this is our circumstance here. Is that now when you wake up in the morning and it's blowing and the forecast is saying it's going to blow a certain way, you got to keep your wits about you. Unless it's absolutely dead flat calm, that's the only time you can really kind of relax and go, okay, I don't have to worry about my boat floating away. So yes, it is a little tense, but I mean, look at what we have to deal with. I mean, ooh, poor baby, right? You gotta be stressed about being close to the beach. Yeah, it's kind of got its ups and downs. You got to keep your eyes open, and most people wouldn't do this. We do trust our anchor, our chain. We have a lot of chain, 7/16 chain, almost half an inch, very sturdy. We've got a Mantis M1 anchor, 85 pounds. Once it gets down there, we've had anchors before, good anchors, things like the CQR, but that was on the West Coast. I remember a few times having to reset it because they wouldn't grab. We've been out here for almost 6 months now, or more than 6 months. This anchor has been grabbing on first drop every time. It's like I put it in reverse. I go as far as 2,000 RPM on the engine in reverse to put tension on it to make sure it's sunk in. It instantly grabs. And when it grabs, the whole boat goes, and that's basically called setting your anchor. I do strongly believe in that, because then once it's set and you really pulled hard on it, it's in the dirt and it's in the sand or mud or whatever you're in. This is our morning, and we're going back to coffee drinking and having breakfast. Have a good one. Good morning, crew. Captain speaking. Here we are. So we're getting ready this morning to take off to West Bay by Nassau. We don't want to go to Nassau, but yeah, we're gonna get close to Nassau enough so that we can zip around and go to Highborne Cay, where there's a marina that we could fill up, because I put in 30 gallons out of our jerry cans yesterday. So that wasn't too bad with all the mileage we did coming down here and run the generator just about every day, making water and the whole thing. Quite the rolly night. I don't know if you can see that. quite the rollers coming in, and it's always more fun that way. Keeps the night interesting, because then Walter doesn't sleep. He just walks around panting, and I wake up with my eyes around my knees. All right, we'll talk later.
All right, so we are underway to New Providence Island, the West End, for an overnight stop en route to the Exumas. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! And we just got the sails up. It's a close haul, or the wind direction is close to where we're going, but it's enough that this beautiful boat can sail pretty close into the wind. And we've got full sails, and we've turned the motor off. That's just Dennis tightening the sheet. Under sail at 6 knots. Just lovely out here. It's a beautiful day. The seas have calmed down quite a bit from the last few days. We were getting a rock and roll in the anchorage because it was coming from the east, even though it was light. And so I was happy to go. It's actually calmer out here than it was the anchorage. And so I don't know, what is that, like a 2-foot swell? Yeah. Got about a 2-foot swell, which apparently is pretty mellow for here. In general, is pretty mellow. But from what I've seen, it's really calmed down from the last few days. So the next few days are supposed to be pretty stable weather and lighter winds. Tomorrow we're going to go down to the Exumas, I think to a place called Highborne Cay, I think. And we may have to motor tomorrow because it's going to be very light and I think right in the nose. So we are going to take advantage of any and all sailing opportunities today. Isn't that lovely? Tomorrow we will get on the Great Bahama Bank, which will be a new experience for us because it will be traveling in very shallow water, which is really new for us, so that'll be interesting. Today, I guess, is real deep at 40 feet. That still makes me smile. 40 feet was a relatively shallow anchorage in British Columbia. Going about 5 knots, which is not so bad. We're not in a super rush today.
I'm giving birth to a dog. Hi, Daddy. He's shaking a little leaf. Like I said, you can let go of the wheel for a bit and it steers perfectly fine.
So how's your sailing boat?
Fantastic. Doing 5.6 right now and a 10 knot wind. Not bad.
So we are about halfway there. And so I believe here we're open this way to, I think, what's called the New Providence Channel, which opens up to the Atlantic. And we picked up a little bit, which allows us to continue a lovely sail. And I think we're getting some of the swell now from more out in the Atlantic as it goes down the channel. The swell is really picked up. Some of it's like 8 to 10 feet. Nice long period swell, so it's not uncomfortable. But some of them are pretty big. I don't think you can ever appreciate that on film, or on the camera. I don't know, you'll have to let me know. A little chilly with the clouds. As you can see, we have our sweatshirts back on, our kangaroo shirts. That's the west end of New Providence Island, and I couldn't get the camera out quick enough when we were closer to that surf. I'm trying to get online to figure out, to make sure I remembered the tides correctly and to see what the anchorages were like, because there is like this huge breaking surf. All across the entrance to the west end. There was what, one tiny little opening? Yeah. There was a tiny little opening for a brief period of time, and then it was covered by big white breakers. Yeah. So, like I said, I wish we were closer. This is just seeing them way in the distance, but there was big breaking surf, like a big breaking surf day at the beach. Yeah. All along where we were gonna go. So we're not going there, because we've done breaking surf before years ago and don't want to do it again.
Yeah, look at that. There's some more surf there.
Yeah, you can see it out there. That big white line. That's what that looked like in the entrance. So we're going to skirt along the northern edge of New Providence Island and maybe go as far as Rose Island, because we're really just dropping the pick for the night, and I don't want to be that restricted when we leave in the morning, because we've got about a 45-mile day, and I'd like to go early, and it's shallow, so I don't want to get in where we're going tomorrow night late. So we're going to skip the surf and see what we can find to drop the pick for the evening. And as you can see, there's also these smokestacks, and it was PU stinky, so I don't mind not being there for the evening. Some big fancy houses along the shore.
Funny how nobody mentioned the smokestacks.
No, nobody mentioned smokestacks. They did mention the big fancy houses along the western shore here, so that I can see. Yeah, and there's some more breaking surf further down the north shore. So it's just a drop and go for tonight to tomorrow. There was a place to take our trash in West End, but it's not worth it. We'll find another place for trash. On to the next anchorage. Let's figure that one out. I do want to mention that we're like a half hour from slack, which is supposed to be the calmest time to go in and out of an entrance. So in like 10-15 minutes, it was an ebbing slack, which should be a better direction because it's the same direction as the wind. So I can't imagine what the flood must look like today. And nothing that we read mentioned that. There was really big swells coming out of the east. And I know there was big swells out in the ocean, so I'm guessing that was the impact.
Yeah.
But yeah, no breaking surf for us this afternoon. We've got plenty of time. Fortunately, always good to have extra time.
Yes.
Extra time cushion. Good lesson. We're going to see what's along the northern shore here of New Providence and maybe park it somewhere along Rose Island for the night. We'll see where we end up.
So here we are, the dilemma. So all of these anchorage on the north end are going to be the same, all the surf. There's Nassau. Mouth of Nassau is here. The west anchorage is stinky, noisy, and doesn't hold much. So we're not too sure what to do now. Because by the time we get there, it's going to be 5 o'clock, 5:30 or so. We could go around the other side, but that's going to be another hour.
That's too late.
And then we're going to be too late. So I don't know. I think we go to the noisy and try to get in there. Yeah. So we'll try that. All right. Wish us luck.
So we have been trying to call Harbor Patrol, which is what you're supposed to do to enter Nassau Harbor. And I don't know what the deal is because other people can hear me just fine on the radio, but I can't hear them. They can hear me. And every time they try to talk to us, it's just total static. So I've tried like 5 times. So Dennis said, we'll just go in. And if they come alongside, then we can answer their questions at that point. So there's a big cruise ship exiting the harbor. And he just called us, so I know somebody's hearing us. So this is the west entrance to Nassau Harbor. And we are just circling it, waiting for the cruise ship to exit. And then we're going to go in and hopefully that will be fine with Harbor Patrol. Big ship. Very nice captain. He told me I could get a hold of Harbor Patrol on 16. So we keep trying. So here we are in Nassau Harbor on the west side for the night. Not so bad. I thought it'd be a lot crazier, but it is 5 o'clock. And we have some neighbor cruisers, it looks like, and some neighbor cruise ships. And I don't know, is that the Atlantis Hotel? Looks pretty big and fancy to me. And then there's some colorful condos back there. Not quite as crazy looking as I expected. But I mean, it is the Bahamas versus Atlantic City, right? Felt a lot better coming in here than through that breaking surf that was by the anchorages today. So it'll be an easy out, and then we'll figure out our course tomorrow, I do believe, to Highborne Cay.
Here we are anchored in Nassau, between the industrial center and the bridges and the tour ships and the hotels and the cruise ships, which emptied out last night and then refilled this morning. All these boys came in this morning. Now that's a nice display of smoke. I'm not sure what they're burning, but whatever they're burning, it's burning black. I gotta kind of do some research on that. Why are they causing so much smoke? All right, so we're departing this morning to go to the Exumas, yes, and we're going to be going to Highborne Cay. All right, so let's pack it in and we'll talk later.
So we've left Nassau and we're on the Great Bahama Bank en route to Highborne Cay in the northern part of the Exumas. And we've got about a 10 to 15 knot wind, but it's right smack in the nose. And about a 2-foot chop, a little bouncy. And there were some squalls and clouds this morning. And so the sun is just starting to come out and we are just getting to see this amazing watercolor. Take a look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Just this emerald blue. And there's a good chop out there, so it's not like a sheer clear all the way through, but when you look down, you can definitely see the bottom. And it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous blue. So I can't wait to see what these anchorages will look like. I've seen the pictures where it's just this crystal clear water and this beautiful, aquamarine color. So I think I'm going to go close those center hatches before the inside gets salted. See you later. So I can see why everyone flocks to the Exumas and talks about how amazing. So it's still pretty choppy out here, but take a look at this water. Like, that's just amazing. I could see the bottom. I don't know about you. Can you see the bottom? And I could see the coral heads or rocks or the dark spots underneath us. So we're passing over a little bit more shallower of an area and avoiding the main, what they call yellow bank. But just amazing. I'm gonna put you a little lower. What do you think? Can you see that? It's like glass. It's like emerald epoxy. And this is on a choppy day. So I can't imagine what it looks like in these bays. I'm gonna find out soon. But this is just incredible. It's coming down in terms of the chop is not as high. So the animals have been doing well. The cats are doing well downstairs. Walter got anxious because the one criticism of this boat is when we're not under sail, which we're not because it's really light in the nose, so we don't have as much stability without the sails, that the flatter bottom can really bash when your nose into some bigger chop and bigger waves. And so when we got some 4 and 5 footers, even some 6 footers, the boat just really bashes. And Walter hates that, but it's calming down. So I don't think anyone likes that, but Walter in particular is not a fan. Look at that, it's just amazing. Magical, huh?
Well, folks, we made it through the minefield, and I gotta say that was unnerving. Sitting down between 11 and 13 feet of water, which leaves us, assuming that we leave our keel to 6 feet, that only gives us 7 feet of water at 13 feet. So yeah, and if there's a bunch of coral heads, then you're having another 4 feet on top of that, so that leaves you by basically 3 feet when you're cruising at 7 knots. It's a little unnerving. Not sure if we're going to be able to see that. Here's the polka dot. Here's the polka dot field. You see that line there? That's what we just went through. A little unnerving, just a little bit. We could see them in the water because this is amazing. I know Michelle talked about it. Kind of hard not to. Take a look at this. This is the best picture of it. Yeah. You can see our shadow on the ground. That's scary. Right? At one point, we'll slow down and I could put you in the water. Nice black cloud ahead. Oh, big lineup of it. Alright, so yeah. I wish I had Valium. We gave some to the dog. Not Valium, but his meds. It calmed him down a little bit. He was going a little nutso. He doesn't like being rocked around. The weather calmed down. The waves were not slapping around anymore. Unfortunately, the wind is again right in our nose. We should do like all those good sailors and just start tacking left and right and left and right. But then again, we'd never get there. So what do? You just motor. All right. See you later. So good morning, folks. Captain speaking. As you can see, I'm hoping this is working because yesterday we got some water in the 360, the instant 360, and it was shutting down and flashing back up all by itself. So I dried it up and I'm hoping that this is working right now. So yeah, it's a beautiful day again. A little bit of rain this morning. And this is our anchorage. We're making water this morning. This is what you can hear if you hear noise in the background. It's our generator running while we make water. So there it is. Yeah, everybody's happy. We just had our first cup of coffee. And I think we're going to keep it to 1 cup of coffee because it seems to be a problem when we get to more than 1 cup of coffee. And I'm down to 2 scoops of decaf actually instead of full calf. So yeah, I just get jittery. It's not good. We had a show last night. Elon's rocket landed right past that antenna. We saw it shoot through the skies over here when it entered the atmosphere, and the rockets boost, and then they picked it up on the platform over there, which was pretty wild. Quite the show. So yeah, you could see our chain down the bottom there. Isn't that cool? And today I got to go get some fuel, and then after that a couple of things to work on, and then I'd like to get in the water to be able to show you guys the nice anchor that we have that's in the ground there. That thing just constantly grabs on. I keep bragging about it, but there's nothing else to say.
Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed our adventure this week. Come join us next week as we spend time in our beginning exploration of the Exumas. Yes, the water is as magical as they say. See you then. Thank you to all of our friends, family, and subscribers. Please be sure to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. See you later.
Mud, get off your iPad. She's always on there. I know. Here we are in, where the heck are we? White Cay. Here we are. Well, for a change, here's Captain Michel steering away. Nice shirt there, Sweet Pea. Did you get that in a garbage can?